everybody. Welcome to Uninformed, our weekly show where we pull topics out of a bowl and unfiltered and uneducatedly scream at each other about it.
Yeah.
We have a special guest
Pretty
today.
much the gist of it.
We have Bree's sister, Nikki.
Howdy.
Most of everyone here, everyone met Nikki in person. We've all seen all of each other's. I think Joe 5D has the hots for Nikki, if I remember correctly. Ooh.
Joe 5D does? No, I don't think so, because apparently I'm a new face.
No, he's told me before he thinks you're hot. He's like, Bree's sister's hot.
No, I don't think it was Joe.
Yeah.
You don't think it was Joe? Who was it? No. It was somebody. Somebody is like always like, oh, Bree's sister's so hot.
It's like the long name.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
On with the show. Welcome to Uninformed, where we're spicy as fuck. So
Spicy. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Hi.
Anything new to report? No, nothing. Real boring. Okay.
Yeah,
it's been a slow news week. I can't think of anything that's happened that's like pressing.
I mean, there's a whole ocean of news out there. So
hey, but I'm bumped.
There's a whole ocean of news.
There is.
Should we just jump right into it then?
Yeah.
Should we dive into it, Bree?
This ocean of news.
I lost it.
It's okay. We all lost it a little bit.
Yeah. Any new topics anyone wants me to throw in the chat? Aw, no submarine jokes. Be nice.
We'll see.
Buckle up, my friends.
Yeah. Right. Go to the wrong channel for that.
So, Nicole, it's your first time, so you can pull it first.
Pull it.
Back door just Oceangate.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Kari went to go visit him. Okay, so
wait, really quickly, can I say we were looking yesterday to find a movie to watch, and that we're like looking on Apple TV, and it's like it was like the most popular.
I think it was.
Oh no, it was HBO.
Yeah, I think it was HBO Max.
It was Titanic.
Oh, love that. Yeah, because everyone's talking about it. It's my whole For You page.
We got really excited, and we're like,
I think it's really interesting that we're going to talk about it today and now because we kind of have some finality and some conclusions with it. So this morning they did find a debris field, which means that the submersible, not submarine, we can't legally call it that because it's legally not a submarine. The submergible did implode at some point. They don't exactly know when. They know that it was after they lost communication and before they put their own listening devices into the water once they arrived there. Like, yeah, I'm sure everyone knows that like there was a report out saying that they were hearing like tapping and noises and stuff. So from so from that moment before that up until when they lost communication, it's sometime in there is when it imploded, which I kind of knew from the beginning of the story myself. I was like, oh yeah, they're blown up. They're gone. They're not down there like stuck. Or I know a lot of people on the internet were making the jokes about how, they're probably in the tube playing footsies, trauma dumping with each other.
Do they have a bottle to spin the bottle?
In the bottle with? Yeah, no, I think the best case scenario for this situation happened where they died instantaneously and they had no idea that it was going on. It happens within nanoseconds. So I think that although this is a tragedy, people dying, but I think that they died in the best way possible. They didn't suffocate to death.
Right.
No, they were just crushed by the surrounding material.
Confused because
what are you confused about?
So they're saying they found debris, but like they haven't 100% been. Like,
no, they have.
They confirmed it.
They confirmed it.
Two major parts of the submarine that they found.
saying that so that people don't feel like they didn't do anything when they're running out of time.
Well,
They
they
did
found
so
the
much.
part that
They did
actually,
so
Okay,
much.
so here's the kind of chain of events that happened about these things. So here's some stuff that you have to understand. So number one, our military that was over in the East Coast did not have the capabilities and equipment to go down to the depths that the Titanic is at in order to see if they were stuck down there or anything. They've only been using sonar to try to see if they can find wreckage, which is incredibly hard when you're looking at another boat's wreckage. Okay. So they were being very unsuccessful with what they were doing. There's a club out there called the Adventures Club. These were kind of the people who really pioneered going to the Titanic, and they were like the group that James Cameron went with down to go film the Titanic. They, since they heard Monday that there was an issue, have been offering to the Navy and our military to come with their equipment that's located in the UK that is only 16 hours away. They could have been there within 16 hours. And they were told, okay, yes, mobilize. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Oh, wait, yes, mobilize. Oh, wait, no, never mind. So as of last night, the Navy finally said, okay, fine, you can come out. And they found the debris field within, hours, literally, from being able to go down there. So what they mean by debris field is the first thing we have to understand is the debris field that they found is completely separate from the Titanic. This is a new debris field and is not, it's like off the front bow of the boat of where this wreckage is. What they found was the end cap on the front, the end cap on the back, and the ballasts that were attached to the vehicle. The only way they could have been able to find the two end caps and the ballasts is if there was some sort of implosion. They have not found the tubular structure itself, like the capsule itself, but they found both end pieces. Now, if anyone knows anything about ballistics and how implosions work, there's a very big possibility that there's not big chunks of that cylinder left, and that they have been put into millions of pieces of shards. And the biggest pieces that they are going to find are the two end caps and the ballasts that it was on. So because they found the two end caps and the ballasts, they are confirming that it has imploded.
Mm-hmm. And so the biggest thing that makes that true is the sub was made out of a material that is technically called carbotanium. Mm-hmm. It is a mixture of a weave of carbon fiber and titanium that was first put into use by Pagani in their Zonda F car. And it was co-developed with Boeing and designed for aerospace like the F-35 and the F-22. It was not designed for the pressures of being that deep underwater. So if anybody's ever seen a Formula One race where the car hits something and shatters into a million pieces, that's what carbon fiber does. So under that pressure, that section that they were in, that tube section, probably just evaporated around them.
Yeah, and that also goes to Bree's question about the bodies. Wouldn't there be bodies? No. Everything was incinerated within a millisecond. Everything other than those two big pieces on the outside and the ballast on the outside. They are going to find very little other evidence of these people. Literally. You're going to maybe find like a shoe, a wallet, but you're not finding bodies. Also, at that depth with that pressure, there's actually no like natural calcium that's down there. So your bones deteriorate incredibly quickly at that pressure, which is why like when they go to the Titanic site and stuff, like you don't see bones and stuff. The environment has literally absorbed the calcium of the bones and makes it disappear way faster than any type of normal decomposition would happen.
You know, it's really interesting. Before, when they didn't find the any of the debris, people were talking about like, okay, so what if it didn't implode and they're just in there waiting to run out of oxygen?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was hearing that because they would run out of oxygen, their bodies would have been basically preserved. So like if we had find them like 10 years down the road, they would open up the capsule and they would just be like,
no. Common misconception about how decomposition works. And it's actually funny because I watched an entire YouTube video about a mortician who went over this, and they said yes and no. So yes, oxygen does help decomposition, but the fact of the matter is that your body has natural like
oxygen in it.
No. It has natural like bacteria and microorganisms inside of it that is going to break down your body. Will it be incredibly slower? Abso-fucking-lutely. But like when they open the capsule, if that was the scenario, that yes, they would find something there that resembles human shape, but that it would be some version of decomposition because your body naturally decomposes itself with what it has going on. The releases of gases and, like I said, bacteria and things that you have on yourself would have decomposed the bodies eventually over time. But the lack of oxygen and the coldness down there would have absolutely slowed it down.
So just to put this in like perspective, the PSI that we experience at sea level, the pounds per square inch, which is the pressure, at ground level, it's 14.7 psi. At the depth of the Titanic, at 12,500 feet-ish, below the surface, it's 5,546 psi. So that's how many pounds per square inch your body is experiencing.
Think about like 7 elephants standing on your chest.
Insta-dead.
Yeah, exactly.
7 elephants standing on every square inch of your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I find this whole thing interesting that millionaires would. You think that millionaires would be smarter, let's go in this guy's backyard built submergible and go, to one of the most dangerous places in the world, the ocean that we really don't know anything about, and let's just go down there with like no certifications or anything and just go take a look-see.
Like, why would they not fund it themselves? Like. One of them is a billionaire, so it's like, why would you not just create?
So that's the thing, Bree. The reason they're paying $250 for the seat on this thing is because the guy was, $250K. He was masking it as you were funding the project, like, you're spending all this money because this is helping to develop it. They bought these tickets before the submergible was even finished. These tickets were purchased. So they had a payment plan going on where it's like, okay, you initially give me $20,000. And then once we test it and all the testing goes good, you give me another $50,000. And that's literally how that worked.
There's just nothing good about the situation. It's quite shocking.
It
is sad, though, that one of the guys, I don't even remember who it was. Was it Hamish? It was some other guy, because those are like the two names I keep saying.
Hamish is the billionaire.
Has been to the Titanic already.
2 billionaires
fucking like 5 times already.
There's one guy who's a certified diver. He's been down there with the explorers group before.
You go already like 5 times, and then it's like the 6th time. Nope.
But that's what makes it even crazier. The guy who's been in like certified subs and got into this goddamn machine that this guy built from literally spare parts that he found around town. Like, not a joke. Like Tony was saying, like the hull of it was literally from airplanes. The ballast on the outside were from construction sites. There were pipes from construction sites. The lighting on the inside was from Camping World. The controller was a Logitech knockoff PlayStation controller. Like, how dumb do people have to be?
I've done that in the past. That there is another submarine that the Navy had and it was controlled with a controller like that.
Well, no, they do it with their nuclear subs. They have a similar type controller, but the United States Navy has a budget of $800 billion, and this guy has a budget of whatever the fuck I found on Amazon. So there's
it just all seems so goddamn fucking sketchy. I don't understand why somebody thought that this was a good idea. And what's even more interesting about it is there's a lot of stuff coming about on Twitter now where it's like a lot of more famous people like Josh Gates and stuff who have actually been in it and like are now coming out and talking about it, saying how unsafe it was. But it's crazy that y'all put this information out there and it's like in videos, but then you never talked about that side of it. And now you're coming out and talking about it. Like, there were several little documentaries and news segments about this before they went underwater or anything like that, just investigating like what they were doing. And nobody once at any point said anything. There was one guy who said that like he was up on the mothership as they were down there, and that they had lost communication for a few hours, and that the people on the ship turned off the ship's Wi-Fi so nobody could tweet about how they lost it.
Yes.
And again, nobody publicly came out and said anything about this until this disaster has happened. So there's been people who have been behind the scenes, who have been very aware that a catastrophic event was going to happen and have kept their mouth shut about it.
And there was a few articles that came out where they were like, the Oceangate system uses SpaceX's Starlink.
Only when
And-
it's on the surface.
Yeah, and people were like, really? You can't send those signals down through the water. It doesn't matter how fucking great your system is. You can't rely on that. And they weren't relying on it. And they came out and they said, well, yeah, we use it for surface communications. And then everybody was like, oh, well, I guess we can't blame Elon Musk for this.
So they're trying to allege that because this submergible had 7 different fail-safe backups to rise it to the surface, that was the reason that they didn't need location services inside of it, because they could guarantee that they would come back to the surface. That, oh, we don't need that because as soon as we pop back up, we'll link up to Starlink and it won't ever be an issue. We will never get lost in the middle of the ocean.
No, there's no way they could have said that.
They
All
did.
of them signed a huge contract that said, like, explicitly, you can.
Oh no, yeah,
definitely-
no. But what I'm saying is their reasoning, the company's reasoning for not putting a location service that they could find it underwater was because they had the satellite thing and they had these 7 different fail safes that we could bring ourselves back to the surface.
Well,
and
in what?
people have talked about it. There was the one guy that was working who got fired. when
But,
he
that's
said it
but
was
not
mistake.
like publicly. That's what I mean.
And
Like
then-
it's not being covered by the news like it is now.
He got sued.
He
I
did.
guess the news didn't cover it. And
No.
then there was another couple that signed up for this in the beginning.
Yeah, they're in
And-
active lawsuit with him right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's over.
Well, so why they're doing it is because they've asked for their money back several times. They were a part of this weird
And they
payment
said
plan
this-
where it was like, yeah, and they said they've been dragged along for years and they just want their money back. And the guy just keeps like every time convincing them to like, oh no, it's okay, I'll have it figured out. Like I'll have it figured out.
And TikTok found 2 ladies that went on the
Mhm.
trip. I don't know if they went on the same trip, but they said that
They
it
did.
was great.
So, and that's the thing. There is, I believe, 4 successful dives that this thing has taken down to the Titanic with people on it, and that's like great and hunky dory and lovely and everything. But like 4 times out of 100 is not great odds.
No, and the problem with that is the way carbon fiber is structured is it takes stress only to so much, and then you have to like go over every single part of that vessel and see if the carbon fiber is stressed to the point where it needs to be replaced. Formula One teams do this,
Mhm.
but this guy,
Microfractures.
yeah, there was a Corvette that had a crack in its frame that was 3 millimeters long, and Chevrolet told the insurance company to entirely like demolish the car, say it's completely wrecked because it was in such a critical spot because of the stress. So if a car company can say, yeah, that's going to cause a catastrophic failure, somebody who's going to those kinds of pressures and is not checking the vessel after every single time for microfractures, fraying of the carbon fiber strands or the titanium strands that are woven into it.
And that's just
Let
one
alone-
of the many things that could be going wrong with it. Like,
Yeah, let
let's
alone
just
the
talk-
fact the
let's just talk
window
about-
was only rated for half
Exactly.
the depth. Of what
Mhm,
it
there's
was
that.
going.
And then if you guys don't know, so the mechanism to get in and out of this was where that little window was, and there was O-rings, rubber O-rings around it. Now, because the sub was unregulated, there's no way to know that whether or not they were using proper O-rings in order to seal it off, or that they were checking them, because these things need to be changed constantly. Like you need brand new ones every time you go down. And because they, again, weren't regulated, there's a possibility that their sensors did not know anything was wrong. And when they closed the door and everything looked fine, but like what Tony's talking about, there's like this little, very micro, any little thing that you don't realize. And that's where air got in. And that is literally why they imploded, where they did specifically too. Because so it takes 3 hours for them to get down to the Titanic when they're going down. And about halfway down is where they lost communication. And that's where the pressure really would have started to build up. And if there was something wrong, that is kind of the moment where if something was going to happen, it was going to happen at that time.
Mhm.
Kari speaks, says Joe 5D.
Mhm.
Thoughts?
I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen on the internet. It's one of the dumbest things. Like every safety precaution that could have been taken wasn't taken because whatever dumb reason the guy dreamed up at the time.
Mhm.
Like it was bound to do this.
Well,
Well,
and let me
So
just
I'm unsurprised by
My
this.
wife is like a many like lineages or whatever. Anyway, she has
Great granddaughter of the two people that were
like
holding hands
that
on
on
the
the
Titanic. Yeah.
Titanic.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And what is with the Simpsons, man? I just
They're
saw
just
that.
predicting
It's
things.
weird because the guy that
Yeah.
wrote that episode was one of the people that's been on that submarine.
Yeah.
So, and then let me also just say to
Yeah.
you guys too, one thing. I don't know if you guys know this is going on, but at this exact same time, did you know that there was a Syrian refugee boat with
Yeah.
about
Yep.
700 passengers on it on their
600.
way to Greece to seek refugee, and that they got pretty close to the shoreline. The like eyeballs were on them from agencies and were aware of what's going on. And instead of going out there to help a boat that was very seriously in distress and overpacked and very obviously was going to have an accident, they chose to sat and do nothing and watched it.
And
And
it capsized.
instead sent all of their resources to go look after these billionaires. And this boat capsized and 500 women, children, and refugees died in that ocean.
Mm-hmm.
But we're all really concerned about some billionaires who blew themselves up.
Are we? Are we so concerned?
Well,
Also,
so
I
Also,
think it's
this
fair for us to downplay the situation just because they're billionaires. There's one thing I have been seeing, I think, from a lot of people is they're like, well, they're billionaires. I don't think that we should makes our feel that someone else's life is not as important or that it isn't as, intense as it is just because they're
that is that textbook thing of like when a train track is driving and you can only go one way or another. Do you kill the track that has one person on it, or you kill the track that has five people on it? I feel like that's one of these scenarios of like that ethical dilemma. It's like, do you save the 5 billionaires or do you save the 700 refugees? Well, in my mind, the 700 refugees, not the billionaires.
I got a good one.
Tell me.
Do you kill one person or double it and pass it to the next person?
Double it to the next. Yeah. But
Well-
and then also with that, you guys have to understand too the amount of money that's being used in order to do this. This is literally millions and millions of dollars that are being funded right now, or not funded, being used to locate this wreckage and now recover it. We're in the recovery part of it now. Who's going to pay for that? Because you guys understand that it's us and out of our pockets and our tax dollars because we pay for the Coast Guard. Like, we are paying for this.
So I have a counter argument to that, which will kind of say why we spent the resources that we did going after this submersible versus those refugees. The Pakistani, the UK Pakistani guy was a member of the World Economic Forum.
Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister?
Yeah. The guy who...
there's a lot of people, though. Elon Musk is a member of the World Economic Forum.
Right, but this guy was in distress. Member of the World Economic Forum.
That's why resources were sent to where they were, is what Tony's trying to allege.
Oh, okay.
I
saw something interesting that apparently the billionaire who was there with his son was involved in some kind of...
That's the Saudi guy.
He was involved in
Pakistani,
something
Pakistani.
to try and make cryptocurrency like an official currency somewhere.
And now they're dead.
But it's interesting when you think about the history of the Titanic and the Federal Reserve.
No, very much so, and how it's linked
like,
to it, because the people who were against the Federal Reserve all died on that boat.
And
JP Morgan didn't, and he decided only days before that he would not go on the journey, him and his little friends. Yeah, there's a lot of layers on layers on layers when it comes to this kind of topic, and I think that this is just another one of those. If I'm not mistaken, tonight in the UK there will be a documentary about Titan coming out.
I mean, that's fast.
Yeah. They were waiting to either hear. So here's the thing: a lot of places were waiting until today because there was that. Well, if they didn't implode and they're still alive, they have air until here, so we have this much time to do stuff. And as soon as the air was up, they were like, "All right, we can release this now because there's no chance of finding them alive."
Living. Yep,
exactly.
Yeah, and that's like that the Hamish guy. The other billionaire. So he actually flew on that Blue Origin flight with William Shatner into space.
Yep.
No way.
Yeah. So he went on that, and then he got on that janky ass fucking.
And his stepson is out trying to get only OnlyFans models to sleep with them and going to Blink-182 concerts, and then getting mad at Cardi B when Cardi B called him like unclassy.
Cardi B called him out for being unclassy.
It was fucking
how
hilarious.
fucking bad do you have to be?
Cardi B was like, I'd rather be poor than have no one care about me.
There are so many like crazy conspiracies. Like one of them was that because they were already invested in space and also connected to SETI, that they've also been monitoring under the ocean, and they could have instead gone to like some base or whatever and basically faked their death.
Yeah, the fake death thing I hear a lot.
Another one is that they were never even on the submarine.
Yeah, they weren't on it. And that it was all that they were in some sort of trouble that they're running from.
And then there's another conspiracy I've heard that one of the people on the boats, I don't remember which one, but he was about to like expose evidence of Elon Musk being on like the Epstein flight logs.
So the conspiracies go crazy.
On purpose, like
they do.
Just fucking running and
Everything.
This is that time where we need to just like all these conspiracy theories are going to start coming out, and we just need to go. Okay, let's.
It's so much more simpler than that. A bunch of billionaires weren't very smart and went and climbed into a coffin and dove to the bottom of the ocean. Like that's it. That's the whole story, guys. There's not anything spectacular. There's nothing. It's a bunch of idiot people with a bunch of money who were way too secure in their safety because they have so much money. They think that they're fucking invincible, and they were like, "We can do this no matter how sketchy it is." And now they're dead.
Yep.
I think they're just really naive. Maybe not
very naive.
They're just I think, doing the most that they can, and hopefully they at least passed knowing that they took adventures.
Oh yeah.
Well, that also reminds me of like the whole people with money just try to do things to be edgy. Like I found this new thing and like just a gloat in front of I'm paying $250,000 to go down and see the Titanic. You can swindle the fuck out of these people. I realized with this whole thing, you can swindle the fuck out of these people with shit from Home Depot.
You just gotta be a good salesman, yeah. As long as you're convincing, you can scam anyone out of any amount of money for sure.
Yeah.
Let's pull another topic. We're like at 30 minutes.
All right, yeah. We can go into this forever of the nonsense.
Keep picking
rest in peace, billionaires. I only really feel bad for the guy, the 19-year-old.
The 19-year-old.
Yeah, that's what I felt bad about. He lived a pretty wild life, though. To die at the Titanic at 19, that's like, woo.
They went for the full experience.
Why didn't aliens intervene?
Because they were like, these stupid people.
Have we talked about this before?
I don't know. What is it?
Healthcare.
Ooh, healthcare.
Free
healthcare.
Oh, free healthcare. Healthcare is a scam.
We haven't talked about free healthcare.
You listen.
We just talked about healthcare. Okay.
All right. I'll give you my grandma.
Maybe start with the very quiet two people, either Nicole or Kari. You guys.
We're not picking. We're not repicking. I thought you talked about
it. Free healthcare. Go.
Free healthcare. Go.
I have free
Nicole?
healthcare.
Kari?
No, you don't.
Kari, you go first.
I do.
No, you don't.
I mean, technically it's taken out of taxes.
So it's not free.
But it's effective.
It's not free.
Okay.
But
it's a negligible cost compared to thousands of dollars for nothing.
You're already paying thousands of dollars.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You highly underestimate how much taxes Kari is paying. Like
I pay very little.
Kari, not Kari.
Listen, some people are paying for, but here's what you have to understand about that, Tony. You say that so smugly, but here's the deal. You also pay for insurance. And then on top of that, you pay for medical things that are not covered by your insurance.
I don't have to have medical insurance.
And Kari doesn't have to do that. When Kari shows up to an ER, there's not a bill at the end of it anywhere. Whereas even if you have insurance in America,
whatever I need,
even if you have insurance in America, you are getting some sort of a bill there's something your insurance did not cover.
Like you could break your arm 1,000,000 times all you want, and then like you'll
be
still
fine.
I wouldn't have to pay a dime.
Right.
Rather than here.
Whereas like depends on what city you're in, what doctor's helping you. Like it's all about that and how much they specifically charge for themselves. I'll give you guys a good example. My grandma has been in and out of the hospital recently with some heart issues. They literally did an unnecessary surgery on her just so they could bill Medicare. Literally, this woman has a heart problem, and they decided that they were going to open her up and take a look and then close her back up and not do anything, and then schedule
Well, I
it
guess there's
later,
nothing there.
and then scheduled a later surgery. And it was like, what was the fucking point of opening her fucking chest up, bros, if you weren't going to do anything? Like, you should have been prepared at that point to fix whatever the goddamn issue was. But instead, no, I know for a fact that's how they're getting more money out of things, because that's 2 separate surgeries they're doing and not 1.
Yes.
Human guinea pigs.
Literally.
Yeah, and also hearing about like how in other countries, even just the prescriptions are all like just a general cost.
Yes, there's a reason for that.
$11 for like whatever the fuck you need, opposed to here. I mean, there's people that I know that are in very serious health. I won't name her, but you were there when we heard a little bit about it, and she can't cover something. Her insurance won't cover a certain medication anymore that she like needs. And so she is sick as fuck right now.
Can't move.
Just
Is
suffering.
paying like what, $100 for a parking
One
spot
pill
that's
or
closer to her apartment so that she doesn't have to walk as far. Like, I just don't understand why there's an argument against it just because it's about money.
No, that's exactly why it's as big as it is. It's all about money at the end of the day. You have incredibly greedy people in charge of these. I know, but that's because it's not the medical stuff isn't owned by our government. They're people who are doing it. And these people can choose to do and charge what they want to do, unfortunately. And we live in that world. And there's no way that here's the problem with that, Nicole, is that specifically here in America, nobody wants to be a doctor if they're not going to get paid a shit ton of money for it. And when you are making healthcare free, what that's going to in turn do is lower the cost of what actual doctors are getting paid. And nobody here in America is going to fall for that, because we are a I'm first kind of person.
We're petrified of communists and socialists. And we don't want equal wealth distribution, and we want the poor people to die.
Literally, exactly. That's what it is. So
might as well say it. Honestly.
So behind the money, that's what it is.
Just say it. Say you
want it is.
Die.
This is how the medical industry in the United States works. Since this is what my degree is in. The medical industry in the United yes, it is, because I won't use it because I refuse to use it once I learned exactly how it works. In America, we are one of the only countries that allow drug manufacturers to advertise drugs, which is created a system that is devastating to everybody's health. Because you can see an ad for restless leg syndrome, and you'll see it, or Lunesta, or fucking Crohn's disease, or lupus, which is like...
It's never lupus.
It's the rarest fucking diseases in the world. You will see ads for it every single fucking day in America on TV. Or you'll see it in magazines, and what they're trying to do is convince you fucking have it, so you'll go to the doctor and say,
and ask for it.
I have this condition. And the doctors in America
is incentivized to give it to you
because there are people who will go to them and will say, you should prescribe this pill. I'm going to take you out to dinner. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do this for you. So now they get a kickback because they're prescribing these pills, and our government lets these pharmaceutical companies do this, and they give them subsidies, and they give them immunities for the negative reactions. And then the FDA says, oh, you know what? We were wrong. We'll pull it after 10 years. You might have caused 5,000 people to get cancer or die, but that's fine. What we're going to do is fine you $3 billion. All you have to do is create 5 shell companies, because this is exactly what Pfizer fucking did. They created shell companies, made them bankrupt, and then stayed Pfizer and didn't pay a fucking dime.
That's how a lot of companies do it. Whenever they have companies have issues, they create shell companies and then bankrupt them. So when you try to go sue them, they're like, oh, well, technically that company is bankrupt and you can't sue them, even though their parent company, which is the people who you actually want to sue, they have no legal rights to it because everything is inside of a trust.
And that is why I refuse to work in the fucking medical industry, because they purposely fucking do that shit.
and then after they get fined, they'll go and make like another 5 different like variations of the same
Yes.
chemical, and
Yep.
then
Damn,
just make
you're
new
right.
medications.
Mhm.
So it's just
You
another
think-
thing.
You think the gun companies are bad?
And
The
that's
pharmaceutical
right.
companies are 1,000 times worse.
Well, I see that Tony didn't kill his wife because she says, "Love what you're saying, hon." But the
AI bot.
topic pulled was about insurance, not the corruption of the medical industry.
It's just, they're all fucking tied
All
together.
connected. All right, let's move to the next one. We've yelled about that one. Get it, Nicole.
Screaming, crying,
Growing up.
What was
I
it?
don't know.
Oh,
else.
that's not how that works, but okay.
You don't want to know?
It's mental health and ufology. Ooh.
Ooh.
I didn't know all the way.
Ooh. I'll let someone else go first.
Killing yourself over aliens.
No, there's a lot of
Unhappy people in ufology.
There's a lot of unhappy people everywhere, though.
yeah, that's the thing. It's not specific to ufology. I think it's
No.
just that we have to, it's just hard for us because some people we want to believe their stories and other people, you know, they're just probably ill. You know, they don't like driving the spaceships for 10 minutes. Crazy. And it's like, but what do you do? Because it's always been a hard line for us, I think, because we started out really caring about experiencers, and when you have your own encounters, it's hard enough to deal with, and so you don't want to do that to other people.
I see.
But
Yeah, it gets harder when
I feel like it has to be taken on like a day-to-day or person-by-person case.
Mhm.
You know?
Well, yeah, you have the guy who did I think it was the Memphis bombing. I think it was in Memphis a couple years ago. This guy detonated a bomb in a truck or a van, and he said like he did it because of the reptilians. So,
Right, I remember
I
that.
vaguely remember this. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
vaguely.
it was like, oh, the UFO community is insane, and there are people who will get extremely frustrated and extremely paranoid after
Me.
Yeah, there you go.
they will get very paranoid and very frustrated because they will believe that the government is spying on them, or that their favorite UFO person isn't listening to their story, and then they have underlying, I think, mental issues
Yeah.
that contribute to it. And I do think that the UFO topic does kind of attract some people that have underlying mental illness issues that are not being treated.
Paranoia.
But we have to take it all with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I think that's like, it's like with any topic in the world, you're gonna have extremists and crazies and normals and like, you know.
It's this topic in especially though, because it up until 2017 it was very predicated on being anti-government, everything's like a lie, and then modern ufology now it's a lot of these holdovers, and I think people are struggling with this kind of switch to this like government apparatus, and that's causing issues, I think.
Yeah, I think also there's people in the community who have bad intentions, who take advantage of people with different mental states and weaponize them for their agenda. And I think that unfortunately wasn't happening before in ufology, and in very predominantly happening now. You know, like when you talk about pre-2017 Scientology ufology, right? Freudian slip
right there.
Like I think that it just wasn't something that was talked about or more known and on the surface. And I think that after 2017, it's like the lid has been blown off a lot of things, and like the curtain's been ripped back of a lot of things. And so you're seeing a lot of those nefarious things that weren't noticeable as nefarious before.
Yeah.
And I just feel like already being a part of, I don't want to say it's controversial, but like like Comic-Con is more accepted than Contact in the Desert, like accepted by society.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
There's still weirdos in there that
it looks like when they think about Comic-Con, they're like, oh, just a bunch of nerds, whatever. But then they're like, oh, Content in the Desert, we're fucking weirdos. These people. Yeah.
And I just hate that.
That's also, I think, just the stigma that's put on us in general with the topic, because it's always been made to be like that. Because if you're into it, then you're kind of like I'm not going to say it's like the government wants you to think that you're batshit. People who are into the conspiracy theory stuff, they go out there and they pile onto it more because they want to make you seem crazy because that works for them. You know, that's part of the narrative that's put out there. And that's what I mean by like nefariousness. Like, I'm not particularly saying like nefarious people, but I think that there's nefarious agendas out there. And that's one of them, where it's made to put a stipulation around our specific group of people as being mentally fucked up, not all the way there, into these conspiracy theories, when like the fact of the matter is the majority of the people in this topic absolutely have their wits about them and have their minds about them and aren't like, you know, succumbing to mental illnesses. But the people who are the ones that are getting put up on pedestals, I think. And then that's why you have the issues that are going on and the fighting and the backs and forth between things. It's because it's like the people who shouldn't be uplifted sometimes are the ones who are uplifted, and the people who, you know, and vice versa.
Should be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when it comes to that, the way that the UFO community is weird, because there are people who are very down to earth and who are very approachable, and you can talk to them and have a normal conversation. And then there's the people who are like, do you know about the reptilians who are, you know, like the queen is a reptilian?
Yeah, every night comes in my bed and sticks its tongue down my throat. Like, there's like some crazy stuff.
And if you look at it through the scope of how a psyop works, it is 100% like word for word on how a psyop works. So if you take people of even average intelligence and show them this information, they're going to go, oh, hold on. What?
Who?
Where?
What? Who? But it's sad, because I do feel like at some points the UFO community does prey on people who are mentally not capable of creating their own thoughts, or they have some type of issue, and then they exploit those people and make millions of dollars off of it by creating these classes or these programs for them to be star seeds or blue avians or whatever. And they're trademark. Star Wars. But
it's like Star Wars.
Yeah, just like Star Wars. But it's the same thing. I mean, it's people taking advantage of people for their own, you know,
monetary gain. Yeah.
Again, like in anything.
Exactly.
I think more of the fact of like, there are people out there that honestly think that they are, like, let's just say half hybrid, and they're going to be switching later. And
like, I'm a
slither
wolf.
Away.
Yeah, I'm a wolf.
And that's the thing, is because there can be very not outrageous, but out there claims compared to compared to normal society, what they think, which is just what they hear on the news, because it's already fringe. It attracts those people because they can say these crazy, outrageous things because they're maybe like schizophrenic sometimes. And a weird corner of ufology welcomes that.
Yep. Like the reincarnated good Nazi.
That is just like the most atrocious.
Oh yeah, the aliens healing things and cancer and stuff. Yeah, when it gets to that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, now we're going into a little crazy.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And if so, keep it to yourself.
So, in short, UFO people silly.
The little silly gooses.
Silly billies.
We already talked about this too. What the fuck? AI.
And we don't have a new AI one this week.
Yeah,
We keep
we
throwing
don't
it back
have
in there
no.
because usually there's
Yeah.
no AI news,
Yeah.
but there's no AI news right
It's
now.
weird that that keeps getting pulled though.
What about like in New York, how they released those fucking AI
The dogs.
yeah, policing dogs or whatever. The
No
fuck.
idea what you're talking about.
They released AI patrol dogs.
Yeah.
Wow,
In New York.
Okay.
that's scary.
Are they packing? Do they have guns attached to them or lasers or something? Like, what's the purpose of them? They're just weird mechanical dogs that walk around and have a
Yeah.
listening device on it. Like, what does it do?
They have
Like
cameras.
your ankles pisses on you.
So they're just basically it's just basically a walking camera and microphone to
It
infringe upon
is
people's rights.
It is like the
Yes.
equivalent
Yeah, got it.
to
Okay.
like the AI movie, the iRobot movie.
Yeah,
Like,
they
that's
they
what
walk
those-
around and they film you
those are-
committing crimes, and then that's all. They do.
Wow. Okay.
But
Well,
LA said they were
Hit 'em
going
with
to
your
equip
car.
their dogs with explosives after the public outcried for them saying they were going to equip them with guns. So then they were just like, well, we'll just equip them with explosives.
Explosives
And everybody
instead.
was
sounds safer, yeah.
Why?
like, is that
Like-
better?
Can you imagine if like a school bus accidentally clipped one and then just blows up? Yeah, like
Okay,
that's
but
not great.
are they going to be accompanied by people? Or are they supposed to be
No,
patrolling?
they're
the
supposed to
point is
patrol.
that
No, they're
They
just
will-
patrolling by themselves.
So why? Okay, but
Police on
what
the
is
streets.
stopping anyone from picking it up and taking it and making it into like?
Maybe that's why there's explosives.
Because it has Apple tags on it and they know where you are. Because they would literally
rip it
film you
off.
stealing it.
I want to.
And then like that and then that footage is uploaded to the cloud and then you're in a Black
Yeah.
Mirror episode.
It is
Yep.
creepy looking, okay?
But this
Where can
is,
we find it?
I think it was about 12 years ago. The Army experimented with AI controlled and remote controlled little track Johnny 5 looking things that had 50 cals and M240 Bravos on them with like 1,000 rounds or
Isn't
2,000
that
rounds.
literally a robot from Terminator 3?
Dude.
No, Johnny 5 is a robot from Johnny 5.
No, I mean like the design, the tracks with the
It's
two
close,
minute-
yeah.
with
They're
two LMGs in
400
one play.
The dogs are 400 pounds.
Yeah, they're
One
heavy
dog.
as fuck.
One
That's
dog.
not
400
that
pounds.
expensive.
But they created these drones that you could manipulate personally with some joysticks and just shoot stuff. But now we're handing it over to AI.
That looks like a real life giant R2D2.
Show us.
Yeah,
So
pretty
some
close.
of them just really look like these creepy eggs. Hold on.
Eggs.
$75,000.
There's different ones. There's like this one.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I
the
like this.
dog.
That's the dog one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's these other ones. I wonder if I can get like a big picture of it.
Yeah,
But
get a
that
big
just
picture.
look like fucking eggs.
Oh, those look like ghosts.
It's like Daleks.
Oh wait, this
Put a little
is the,
sheet on
this is the dog
That's a
from
Japanese
like,
one.
the vine where
Yeah.
it just like keeps falling over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Robot.
doesn't fall over anymore.
Getting better now.
I haven't seen the new Black Mirror yet. I've been
I-
waiting to watch.
I
Oh,
stopped
it's
watching.
on a dog
I only
tail.
ever saw the first season of Black Mirror because the first 3 episodes were like, it was like 2011 or 12. And I was like,
The new
No more.
season
I don't
just
need it.
came out.
Sucks.
I know. The first episode is probably my favorite episode.
Oh,
All right, let's
okay.
pull.
So it's starting.
Yeah.
Flip on a banana peel.
Tell us, Brie.
Imagine. So when they first
It
roll
went
it
down
out,
like the Titan.
damn, baby.
That's
Round it back to the beginning of the show.
I'm sorry.
When they first roll it out, which is going to start in July, and
Okay.
they're gonna start patrolling Times Square and
Mm.
the subway station.
Mm.
But for that first like patrol thing, it will be accompanied by a human.
Oh, there you go.
And then it'll be fucking free range, and you'll see more robots patrolling most likely than
Just
would
wait
be
until they're
so-
autonomous small form factor drones with high def cameras and wireless connection. And they just
Can you
follow.
imagine? Can you
surveillance
imagine?
technology oversight project.
You know, like how DoorDash
What?
or whatever has the robots that deliver the food?
Yes.
Even when I
yes.
see those, I'm like, oh my God, it's one of those robots. I
No,
can't
I live
imagine
in the
what I
middle
would,
of nowhere.
like, if I saw a fucking robot dog, I'd be like,
I don't know, but I'd want to put a sticker
Robot
on it.
dog with a
darn.
gun.
A TOTIWABA sticker on it.
Yeah, I'd put a TOTIWABA sticker on it. Exactly.
Little bit.
Spray paint it.
And it'll be able to smell for things like
Marijuana,
Yeah.
cocaine,
hazardous material
Death.
inspection. So
Oh.
almost like a
So
bombs,
it's a narc.
bomb detector. It's a narc. Yeah, it's a fucking narc.
dogs.
It's a snitch.
Not dogs.
They're gonna name it Snitch.
Snitch.
Is this an
Lilo
ongoing
and
battle
Snitch.
against the birds? The bird spies? Is this like some kind of...
Oh my God.
Well,
Could
no,
be.
now they're just getting more blatant. They were like, we don't even need to hide the fact that we're surveilling you with robots. Now you just accept it. They don't need the
It's
birds
literally
anymore.
called STOP, which is
Okay.
that's what I said. That it's referred to as STOP, which is Surveillance Technology Oversight Project.
No,
Can you
name it
imagine?
Snitch.
If I was doing whatever, and a fucking robot dog came up to me and went, "Citizen, you have broken the law.
you're
Here
under
is your
arrest."
ticket."
You can't take it seriously.
No, I wouldn't at all.
It has a spot cam, so they're calling it Spot,
Oh, that's such a cute name, those fuckers.
and it can also be remote. It can be used remotely. So like, say it's
So
So
like
playing a video game, PlayStation
PlayStation.
controller. You know what? I am gonna approve of a robot dog being controlled by a PlayStation controller before we should trust a submarine.
Right.
Being controlled by one. All right, let's pull one more topic because we got 7 minutes left, guys. Nicole, give us the last one of the evening.
thermal
Ooh,
camera, two-way
that's a
audio
great-
system.
Great dive.
I'm creeped out now.
Don't be.
The SSP.
Ah!
Secret space program.
Ah.
Okay, in
Which-
7 minutes or less,
okay.
Kari, go.
Wait, are we talking real secret space program or new age
Well, then that's
Wonderland?
You put it in there.
You put it in
Yeah,
there.
but I was.
So
I didn't
what
know
did
we had
you
7
mean?
minutes. What?
So then that's
Go.
your thing.
Go, 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 go.
Okay,
Just
7
start
minutes,
talking.
go.
Just
Just 6
go.
minutes now.
The whole concept. Okay. There are aspects that are probably real and programs that are probably classified, but there's a whole bunch of bullshit around it. The end.
Really? That's it?
Okay. Okay.
I mean,
so
I haven't really got much more than that because this
the
it's
secret
just
space program is based off of the idea that there are more things happening in space and way more flight technology than the general
This is
public
what I
is
meant.
made to believe. And I don't think that's a far out there idea. There are people that have tried to be whistleblowers about it, and I think some of it is true. Like, what?
What the fuck is a child?
that's a cat.
I was like,
That's
this
a
cat
cat.
is
Enzo was
dying.
saying, like Enzo was saying, McKinnon SSP. Like, I do believe Gary McKinnon's story
Stinky.
that he saw these off-planet astronauts. But then you have other people that I think took advantage of the story and ran with it. And so when we talk about things like Corey Good and the Blue Avians, that's most likely all fucking fake. I don't think there's a solar warden.
He said
I don't
himself.
think they're like, I don't think there's like a base on Saturn where you can just like teleport to other places. It'd be cool if
I
it
mean,
was there.
Saturn's a gas planet.
Do think that there's a lot more that's been happening than we're made to believe.
Wait, so do you guys believe in like time travel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Technically,
Yeah.
Possible.
I mean,
What
yeah,
time?
like it is on paper theoretically possible. It's just never been.
I
No,
watched
it
that
has
movie
been
that you
proven.
talked about. You know that wasn't a real documentary. It was a movie made to look like a documentary.
Really?
I'm not talking about that. But
I always fall for that. I always fall for that. I think
What?
when it tells me it's a documentary, I believe that it's a
You're like,
documentary.
okay.
I'm like,
Okay,
yeah,
No.
yeah.
No, it wasn't real.
there was an experiment from the LHC to a particle accelerator in Italy where they shot a particle from the LHC to this one in Italy, and it did not have the decay it should have had. It actually had a negative decay to it, so they actually achieved time travel, and they have also proven time crystals can exist.
Oh, okay. I believe in time crystals. I have lots of crystals. I time
It's
travel
like
all the
reverse
time.
entropy, which is kind of what the movie Tenet was talking about.
Oh
So
shit!
you reverse molecular entropy
Yeah,
and they're able to travel through time.
entropy. I like that word.
It needs to be longer than an hour, especially
No, it
because
doesn't.
30 minutes we talked about Oceangate.
Well,
That's
sometimes
what
it is
Jaimie-
longer.
Jaimie has to go, but we can
Particularly,
stay.
I have to leave. Y'all can stay on if y'all want to stay on. I have to leave in 3 minutes because it's my mother's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom! Shout out. So I do have to go do mom stuff. If I didn't have mom stuff going on, I wouldn't have said I only need to be here an hour. Usually, it's 2 hours.
To be jam-packed and be like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's my mother-in-law's birthday. Happy
Birthday, Jaimie!
Happy birthday, mother-in-law!
Who?
Yay.
She's not
Birthday,
watching.
Shay.
Okay.
Wait, it's your mother-in-law's birthday too? For sure?
Yeah.
Oh my
for
god,
sure.
twinsy birthday twins. Oh, is she emotional?
Wow.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, my
Not
mom
even
too.
close.
Yeah, my
No.
mom's super emotional. Oh, my mom's super emotional. She's very much a Cancer.
Oh no,
Thank you for
my
joining
my
us.
mother-in-law would fucking uppercut a cow.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna leave you guys, and if you guys want to hang out, y'all hang out longer. But I'm gonna leave.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Thank
Oh,
you
we're all
for
leaving.
joining
Okay, then we're all leaving.
Okay,
All right,
yeah.
we're getting out of here.
Kari,
You guys
hit
don't
the
forget
end of the
to
show.
send us topics.
Yeah, send us topics, guys. We're gonna
now.
run out eventually, and we're just yelling at each other about AI every week.
Yeah, we don't.
Thank you, Swain.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eye out on that for sure.
For sure. We don't have another show this week. The next time you'll see us is Bobby's Cryptid Corner next Tuesday for Kappas. Tony, you should start working on it now. That's not a suggestion. That is a direct order. We love you all. Please don't find me on the internet. You can find Nicole on the internet. You can find Bree on the internet. You can find Kari on the internet. You can find Tony on the internet. If you don't know where to find us by now, that's your fault. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.